you for joining me at Ivy's Inspirations, Living Your Best Life Imaginable. I'm your host, Ivy, and it is so uplifting and fulfilling to me to find those in this world who inspire others through their teachings, their aspirations to reach their goals, and the gifts they have to offer to our world to make it a better one. As a young mom of 3, I always dreamt of reaching all of the goals I have set out for myself, and I have personally become my own best version. I began as a swim and fit model, which led to becoming a writer and editorialist for a fashion magazine, and then added spin instructor and vegan baking company owner to the list, while also remaining a stenographer and CEO of my own small company. Most recently, I have added real estate agent in training to the list. I truly believe that anyone who believes in themselves and is inspired by others can attain any goal they set out to achieve. Come join me as I talk with others who inspire all of us to be our own best personal versions. Why live any life that we don't feel inspired by? Let's find out how to live our best one at Ivy's Inspirations. Welcome back to Ivy's Inspirations. Today is going to be a really phenomenal show because we're focusing on men's health. I feel like we've had a lot of episodes on women's health and how to be our best selves through facial care, being, in the right mindset, mind, body, soul, yoga, so many wonderful subjects, but it's mostly dedicated to women. So I thought to myself, we really need a subject on men and how men can be their best selves. So today I have my beautiful co-host, Jordan, joining me. Hello, Jordan.
Good morning, everyone. It's so wonderful to be back here, and I'm especially excited about this topic today as well.
So you know me really well, and you know that my favorite subject is health. And we both know, as we've talked about in many shows, that health comes from the inside out before it can come from the outside in. So today we have an incredible guest who has had his own journey on health, but a journey is just that. It has a starting point, and then it has the present, and then it has its future goals. So today, his name is Carl, and we are going to be speaking to him on how his journey began, where it is now, and where he intends it to be as life goes forward. And it's a really interesting story, and I'm going to let him be the storyteller of that. So Jordan, you're the best, and you're at the forefront of health because you are at your personal best. I'm going to go ahead and let you find out how Carl got to his. So all yours.
So again, it is so lovely to meet Carl on this beautiful morning. His energy, as soon as I met him, was phenomenal, and I just know that stems from feeling good on the inside and looking amazing outwardly as well. So especially, I find this extremely, I'm curious because I've always had my fitness role models. Sometimes, they've been my yoga instructors, my mom when she did her spin instructor, and now yoga instructing as well. But I've looked more so to men because as I'm trying to achieve my strength goals, I'm doing, my cardio, but I'm also kind of building up, my outward strength. So I look to some of my, favorite men, soccer players or whether they be basketball players, just fitness in general. So Carl, please, kind of enlighten us on where it all began. How long ago did you begin your fitness journey, and what kind of inspired you to do so?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, both of you. I appreciate the time.
So welcome.
I guess in short, because I know we don't have too much time, but the reality is I've always kind of battled with weight. I've always battled with fitness. Was a chubby little kid growing up, and then kind of grew into my own. Through high school and college, thinned out, got in shape, a lot more active, hit the gym a little bit, but for the most part, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, So started out young through my early days, chubby and overweight, and then through high school and college, like I said, thinned out. And then after that, it just kind of started to pile back on as I got older, whether it was a metabolism thing or it was an overeating thing or whether it was a lack of motivation or movement thing, really just started to pack on the weight. And just about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was at my heaviest. And I'm not standing, but, I'm 5'10" on a good day. And I don't have a huge frame. I'm kind of mid-size frame, and I was at 287 pounds, almost 290 pounds. and just started to notice so much going on with everything. It's a life-changing thing where you can't walk upstairs without being out of breath, or you can't sleep right, or you start to snore, and your whole health, your skin starts to go down, and you just feel exhausted all the time, and it just any little task would be challenging. So a year and a half ago, I kind of just been on and off diets and trying to get in that spot, you know, mentally, like you had mentioned, Ivy, you know, physically, and when I finally made the decision about a year and a half ago, I realized that everybody goes into this weight loss, fitness, becoming your best self, you know, with the best intentions. It's kind of like a hoorah thing, and something triggers you, or something inspires you, or something happens, or you've got a wedding to go to, or a class reunion, or family members are coming to town, and then you realize that, you know, this weight didn't come on, you know, in a month.
Well, that brings me to a question. When you found yourself wanting to be at your personal best, something triggered you and said, I'm not there. I know that I'm not there. Was there like a low point at that actual moment that where you felt like I have to make this change?
Yeah, there was. You know, I was, like I said, I was at my heaviest, around 290, just under 290.
Right.
And for my size, I've got pictures. It's really not healthy for many reasons. And you know, I've got at the time I had a 9-year-old. She was 9 years old, or just almost 10. And you know, you start to think about that, your daughter, and you know, you want to spend your, I don't know, golden years or whatever, the rest, you know, I'm 51 now, so you want to spend the rest of your time with her. And I have a son as well, obviously. He's 7 years older, so he's 19. And you want to spend your time with your family, and you just won't. So I realized that I had to commit mentally first, and really just kind of keep that in the forefront of my mind. So I guess it was really, you know, my wife and my daughter and my son, just knowing that in the next 20, 30 years, if I stayed on the path that I was going, it wasn't going to work out well.
It's that aha moment. It's like, okay, this is not just, it's greater than myself right now at this point. You know, you want it to be your best self for you, as a result, for your whole family and for years to come. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
I so agree. I was just going to jump in as soon as Jordan did with the same valid point, is as a mom, I always wanted to give my children an example of health and wellness and fitness, which I think has sort of rubbed off on all three of them. My son being a baseball player, Jordan now being into yoga, she's always been into exercise, and my son Michael doing karate. They've always done things to sort of keep their fitness levels high. And so if I've done anything good, I think it's that influence as parents on good
Yep.
health. And I also I want to throw this in, very important for the viewers. Also, I think this is a very important point. I want to pass it on. I had a father, Carl, who was a neurologist, her grandfather. And he pulled me aside one day, I was newly pregnant with her, and he said to me, never be afraid of vanity. Some level of it will always keep you your healthiest. And I said, vanity, are you sure that's the right word? He said, it is absolutely the right word, because when a woman cares about herself, or a man, the way that they look to a certain extent, they will internalize that and have to do things to look their best.
Yeah, it's important to you.
So, right. So eating right, diet, wellness, exercise, it all comes with some form of vanity,
Yep.
but a healthy vanity.
Right.
So
And going off that, not to cut you off, I wanted to know a little bit more about kind of any advice you would give to your children, like how you kind of got going and how you continued on with that motivation. What would you tell yourself in the morning, and how did you do it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not just the advice to my children, because they kind of saw me do it, you know, with the pandemic and everything going on over the last year or so. Like, we were home, I was working from home, so they saw it. But to give anybody advice, if anyone had an idea of going on this best self journey, you really have to make it a priority. And a lot of times you think it's going to come off in a month or two. You have to commit to it. You can't be in a rush to do it, and you have to educate yourself. And what I do, Jordan, is I'm an early riser. I get up in the morning before the sun every day and have my coffee, black, no sugar, no creamer, and stay away from the sugar. And I watch videos on YouTube about health, and I watch videos on fitness and just different things that are good and bad to put in your body, and when to put it in your body, and how much of it to put in your body, and what you really need. And I think that for me, Jordan, hopefully I answered your question, is what works for me. And because you start off, like I said, you're excited, you're motivated, you see a couple pounds come off, and then people start to tell you that you look so great, and then you think you can cheat a little bit and have a pizza or whatever. You just can't. You have to stay the path and stay the course, and just keep yourself, on a steady, motivational path.
So what I'm hearing is, and I love all of this because I too am practicing it, it's consistency, it's the mindset when you first wake up, it's the educating yourself and allowing kind of people in your life to be your champions and just to keep going. It's momentum.
Yep. Yeah,
and not to give up when it gets difficult as well.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people, there's so much information now out there with the internet, and there's so many people trying to tell you do this and do that, and at the end of it, they want to sell you something, and that's all fine. You kind of have to pick and choose who you believe in and what you think. But the reality is you really have to use what works for you, because it has to be sustainable, right? You can't just go up and down and up and down, and it's going to be a yo-yo. You'll end up on a down.
Right. So that's a great point. For me as a woman, I have some tips I throw out every now and then. Like, I'm dairy-free for the viewers. I haven't eaten dairy in like 25 years. I'm also meat-free, almost 100% plant-based. I'm getting there. Once in a while, I have like a little bit of wild salmon just because I feel it's really good for your skin. And anyone that knows me knows I'm a huge skin person. Everything that's good for my skin, I'm going to do it. So a little bit of like wild salmon every now and then. I'm doing like once every few months. But my tips are being plant-based, Carl, no dairy. I use almond milk in my coffee. I love coconut milk. If you had to throw out like a few men's health tips, and like yoga every day, obviously. But what would your tips be for this?
Stay on that course. I mean, just like you said, to kind of echo a little bit of what you said, Ivy. I mean, a lot of people don't realize what they're putting in their bodies and what it's doing to their bodies, and then it starts to force them to crave more of the same. But if you can kind of stay away from the dairy as much as you can, stay away from the reds and the whites as much as you can, portion size is huge, the time that you eat is huge. I personally, Jordan, I don't eat after 7, I don't eat before 9. People call it intermittent fasting. That's not what I'm doing. It's just kind of how I've got my clock going right now. So nothing after 7, nothing before 9, and then portion, and then just keep it clean. You got to keep it clean. Read the labels, because they're masters of hiding stuff in there, saying it's healthy and it's not. So you really have to educate yourself, and really have to decide that you're going to dive into this. And what's funny is you become addicted one way or the other, right? It's an addiction. You're addicted to yoga. There's no question about it. You're addicted to...
I am.
Yeah, right. You're addicted to different
I'm addicted.
things. Yeah, for sure. It becomes an addiction. My sister does it in Boston, and she keeps talking about it. And my buddy Cal's trying to get me into yoga, right? So I'm going to do it.
But also being, diet, you just threw something in that was so important. Being a diet connoisseur or an exercise connoisseur has to go hand in hand with the other. So you can't just be into diet without exercise, or be into exercise without diet. They really do go hand in hand. And I'm lucky that I knew, because I had a father that taught me this. I knew at her age to start. But some people don't learn until they're, 10 years, 20 years past your age. They're learning, when they learn. And I say this truthfully to the viewers, because a lot of people do write in and they say, thank you for these tips. I've changed my lifestyle, or I've bettered my lifestyle. People learn when they get sick.
Right.
when they get a disease like diabetes, or they have insomnia, or they find themselves, oh my gosh, I'm like 30 pounds overweight. How did this happen? When did this happen? That's when they learn, is when it's like kind of too late, or when they have to backtrack. So my advice, as you know, somebody who's lived by good health for a really long time, and I credit someone like you more, that sort of lost his way a little bit and
A lot.
came back from it stronger. That's harder to do than just starting all along.
Yeah,
And
I dropped like
so-
101 pounds in about
101 pounds.
Wow,
Yeah,
can we
101.
hear for the 101?
Yeah, 100.
That is
Yeah,
amazing.
I was approaching 100, and I wanted to go the distance, so I did the 101, and that's the thing for me. I can't really say it's because of exercise. Now I did some mountain biking, walked around a lot, stayed active. The more weight you lose, the more energy you have.
Right.
You're doing more things,
True.
so you're just naturally becoming more active. I've got a gym in my garage, so I did some working out there. But I would say I credit it to what you eat, your diet, take control of that, and then stay active. You don't have to hit the gym, 8 hours a day and become a gym rat. You really don't.
True.
But
That's so true.
but it will help, right?
Right.
But again, don't get in over your head. Don't start to take on everything in a month later you just quit it all because it's uncomfortable, right? People hate to be uncomfortable and they get addicted to being comfortable, and then they stumble, they fall, and then they fall back into it and they end up putting on more weight or becoming less healthy.
True. I think that brings me to an important subject, a side subject, which is healthy addictions. I think they're okay as long as they're not to an extreme. I am somewhat addicted to yoga, as you said, but it's made me want to become an instructor and share that physiology with everyone else.
Yep.
What it does to your body, how it changes it, how it keeps you slim and fit, and sort of makes things just overall better physically, but also internally. So I don't know if you're doing the practice now, but I know that my daughter, Jordan, she has been doing it for a little while now. And even though she didn't have a lot to change, I think you've seen, bettering of yourself too, Jordan, right? Like through the practice of yoga?
Absolutely. And as he spoke on, it is quite literally just staying consistent. I started to get different kinds of compliments, like, oh, you're so strong. And I had never really received that. I got, oh, I like, do you go running or do you go to the gym? But now it's like, oh, you're strong. Do you practice yoga? So it's a mind, body, and soul thing all at once. And your journey was just that.
Yeah, and you have to
which
start
is great.
somewhere. It's like you said, I could never keep up to you in yoga today, right? I'd be out of here in an ambulance.
One day.
Right, but you got to start with one class, right? You got to start easy and then
Absolutely.
kind of work your way into it, and you get addicted to it, and to the point where it starts to make you feel so good, like I have, with the weight loss. And sleep is real important, obviously, to weight loss and health, but you want to share it with people, like you said, you want to become an instructor, because it makes you feel so good, and the example you set for your kids, and you want to pass that on to others.
Yes, I was once told that I had a very soft voice for television. I always started out in media. They said you just have to make your voice more pronounced and have it, be stronger. But as a yoga teacher, I was told I had a good voice for that, being soft-spoken. But so finally, I found my niche. So I'm definitely pursuing that now. I'm starting
Good.
my 200 hours as we speak, and I'm just so happy that you are a proponent for men, because I talk about the practice here. I've been doing it for about 6 months, and people think it's not for men for whatever reason. People always think it's a women's exercise, a women's way of life. Yoga is really for everybody, even teenagers.
I think it's just gender all inclusive, human. I think it's human of
Yeah.
us to want to be better.
It's a lot bigger than people think, too.
Yes.
Worldwide, it's a lot bigger, and it's a lot older than people think. Yeah.
Absolutely. What's your take on dessert? Do you let yourself have a little bit? I have one cheat day a week where I literally have whatever I want, and then the next 6 days don't seem so bad of regimented diet and
Yeah.
exercise.
Yeah, even at my heaviest, even to get to my heaviest, I'm not into them. I don't have a sweet tooth. I don't like chocolate. I don't like any of that stuff. It's
Ooh.
not my.
That's
I
helpful.
guess my
I do.
weakness would be ice cream. I like ice cream. If I had to pick one food, it would probably be pizza, but I stay away from it all now.
Well, there are some really healthy alternatives. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's like this brand I really like called Forager, and their ice cream is delicious. It's vegan and low on
We'll
sugar.
definitely look into that.
Yeah,
because
it's
I've
great.
kind of put that on the side burner for a long time.
Yeah, I'm addicted to all things Forager, and they make
Forager?
it taste Forager.
Yeah.
Shout out to Forager, best brand I think on the market. I make smoothies at home with it. It's made out of cashew milk,
Mm-hmm.
but it tastes exactly like dairy. If you're somebody who really likes dairy, you really won't miss it.
Yeah, I'm not a big
because-
dairy guy, other than the ice cream, but I go with that almond milk like you.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so Jordan's eating a lot of Forager now. And also, yesterday we went for lunch and we had this plant-based pizza. There's a chain called Mr. 01. There's one in Aventura. There's one on Brickell. They're all over. I find that the vegan cheese pizzas are like this new rage. She buys them
They're
for her
so good.
condo.
And the crust is what, cauliflower or something?
They have an
Sometimes.
option for cauliflower as
Yeah.
well. It just goes to show in this day and age, you can succeed if you're making the right choices. Like you said, it's about picking the healthy foods
Mm-hmm.
because it's not always the amount of exercise you're getting. I always say tummies are made in the kitchen. Like the real, results are shown in the discipline of what you put into your body.
Yep.
And then that gives you the energy to go for that run or to go do the yoga. So it's all inner workings.
Yeah, meal prep's a big thing too.
I was going to ask, do you meal prep?
I do, yeah. Yep, I do.
What's your go-to?
I mean, I cook chicken. I've got this chicken meatball, 100% like ground, like lean, and I pretty much do that with like a Brussels sprout or some kind of a veggie, and then I'll do some kind of a brown rice, a little bit of brown rice, and that's it. Just
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
perfect.
Because people get hungry and they're uncomfortable, like we talked about. They want to get rid of that feeling of being uncomfortable. So what do? They just go to a quick drive-through, or they just say this, or just they want it to go away. But if you have it right there, meal prep, you just eat. The hunger pain is gone, and then you go about your day, working or whatever you're doing. Sit around and try to boil rice for 30 minutes. You're going to eat something that you shouldn't eat while it's trying to cook.
There's
Very true.
so true. There's a brand I love also called Near East. They make that's East, like opposite of West.
Yep.
They have a brand of quinoa that is like in a box, but it is so authentically delicious, and I buy that sometimes.
Yeah, I know that
And
brand. I like quinoa too. It's good.
yeah,
Yep.
I love quinoa. I switched from brown rice. Actually, the brown rice industry will probably be upset at what I'm about to say. I don't know if it's true, so don't quote me. But somebody once told me that brown rice contains arsenic, and I wasn't sure
I've
that
never
that
heard
was
that.
true, and I researched it. It does have a natural form of arsenic from the soil, so that worried me because I was eating so much brown rice, and so I switched from brown rice just to like farro or quinoa.
Yep.
But these grains, even brown rice, they feed your body with such complex nutrients and vital whole foods that they're really a really great staple for men, for women, for younger,
Again, in portion, it's probably
teenagers.
not too bad for you, but there's definitely healthier options out there.
This is very true. And I do want to be courteous to our guest. It is 11:04.
Oh yeah, I've got a hard
So
stop at 11.
he was so generous in coming here today because he had a busy day ahead of him as well as in the morning. So we're so grateful that you
Thank
came
you.
and for all you've taught us and all we can learn from you and your journey.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Carl. Thank you
for-
so much.
Thanks for respecting the time, and I had a great time, and I appreciate New Dawn Theater and and you guys taking
Yeah.
your time and asking me to come in.
Yes, you've been an inspiration for all men who want to stay fit, and you've shown them that on your journey that's highly possible to do. There's no reason not to. So thank you again for
Thank you.
coming on.
Thank
Nice to
you,
meet both
Carl.
of you.
Likewise. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
So back to our series on health and wellness. We are going to continue on that. Next week, we're going to have a talk with someone who specializes in the genre of health and wellness in a different realm. It's not about food, it's not about yoga, but it's someone very, very inspiring, and they're going to talk on how to stay our best and how to never deviate from the importance of the reasons why we want to stay our best. So it's more of a mind, body, soul connection. So again, thank you so much for joining us. And I want to thank my beautiful co-host, Jordan, for joining us also. And so, the funny thing is, actually, I'm going to just continue for a few minutes because there is one more important topic that I forgot to mention earlier when Carl was here, which is that, the desire to be healthy leads to, and I would love to get Jordan back on with me during this so I can talk with her about this subject as well. So I would really like to to say that, health and wellness is something that starts from the inside out. And people, might look at people who are fit or who go to yoga class and just think, oh, they're just there for their exterior. And it is not true. When I started, 6 months ago to say, I want to really find what my best self is. I don't want to just look good. I want to really feel my personal best. And I've talked about this many times before. But it really starts with what your heart wants and what your mind wants, and then your exterior becomes a cause and effect of that. So it's all intertwined. So if you feel good, you're going to show that outwardly, just like people that don't feel their best. My sister, Jordan's aunt, was one of the most beautiful girls. She was actually the number one choice, and I don't think she got to know this, for a very popular magazine for their cover. She was chosen as number one right before she was hit on her bicycle. She was on her bicycle trying to be fit, trying to be her very best self, and she was obviously, as we know, taken from us doing what she loved, and she was doing it to better her mind, body, and soul, but she never got to see that she was chosen for this publication. Why? Because she represented that just because we're mothers doesn't mean that we can't be our very, very best. So I know that she was number one, and Jordan knows, and we're just so proud of her. But it just goes to show that that is the most important thing, and other people want to be that, and they want to learn how to do it. So that is what this show is all about, is how do we begin to want to be there? How do we stay there? And where do we go from here once we're there? So again, Jordan, what's your take on that?
Yes, I agree. And for anyone watching on their fitness journey, please write into us. Let us know, some tips and tricks that are working for you. If you need any advice, feel free to reach out to Carl as well. We're all here for you. And I think that's what makes us community, is when you're on a similar path and when your goals are aligned with someone else, you find community and you find support, whether you know it's there or not. In yoga class, you find support from so many different walks of life. I saw a 95-year-old practicing yoga, and I couldn't believe it when she told me her age. It's not about that. It's about what drives you, what path are you on in life, and it's never too late to start. And I think that's a constant theme of becoming inspired. It's never too late to be inspired by something new. It's never too late to begin a new chapter in your life. It doesn't matter where you are, where you've been, what you're going through now. It's all about what you are foreseeing for yourself and for your future and for those around you. So I thought that was very inspiring, that he chose his motivation was for his family. And since I don't have children of my own, I hope I make you proud. You tell me every day that I do, which is amazing. That's a driving force for me to be better and to be my best self as well. So I guess find a role model, find someone who motivates you. Today, mine will be Carl, because I didn't go to the gym yesterday, but I know I should have, and that bothered me. But I think today I will work out twice as hard and make healthy choices in the kitchen and with my mindset. So any closing thoughts?
Absolutely. First and foremost, nothing in my life has made me more proud than my 3 children. You being an entrepreneur at such a young age, 23, supporting yourself financially and in all ways, single-handedly. My other son, my middle son, just graduated from the University of Chicago, and he's in economics, and he's going into finance in the big world, and I'm so proud of him. And my third son is at the University of Florida going into law school when he graduates, and he's studying political science. So there is no greater role model for me than my own children. So that is why I keep myself at my best and work to eat the healthiest that I can, to exercise, to have longevity, so that I can be here as long as I can, as best as I can, for the people that I love the most. So there is no greater role model in my life than those 3 people, you and your brothers. And that's just so true, and that's why I'm at my best, why I try to be anyway. So I want everyone to know that this journey that we're on with Ivy's Inspirations is something that I really feel from my heart and soul. It sounds superficial, but it's anything but. when you walk out every day in life and you say, I am happy with me, I like the way I look, I like the way I feel, I like who I am, I like what I'm putting out into the world, and also what I'm receiving, what more is there in life than that journey? What is more important? So that's what this show is all about. So I'm so happy that the viewers are really excited about what we're doing, and I get a lot of supportive messages, so just keep sending them, and I'll keep trying to talk on topics that you're interested in and that help you in some way. So Jordan, thank you for joining me today. And thank you to the viewers. Next week, we're going to do, as I said, a segment on the mind connection and how it sort of feeds our souls, our bodies, and everything else that helps us to be our very best. So join us next week on Ivy's Inspirations as we continue to inspire others on their journey to be their best. We will see you then. Take care.
Atlantis One is a specialized private jet company offering boutique jet services of very light jets like the Embraer Phenom 100 and 300 aircraft. Since 2010, Atlantis One has owned, managed, and sold these particular aircraft. Atlantis One is the expert in these light jets, which give the client the most comfortable, efficient, and technically advanced experience of an executive jet, offering the largest cabin in its class with plentiful natural light and space, delivering serenity throughout. These best-selling light business jets offer true private jet travel experience for your needed travel. Their services include acquisition and sales of Phenom 100 300 aircraft, aircraft consultation acceptance and delivery, aircraft refurbishment and design, aircraft management, flight crew and pilot mentoring, aircraft partnership programs, and aircraft brokering services. For more information, contact Cal Bitzer, CEO of Atlantis One, at 954-258-8000 or via email at k@atlantisonejets.com.
Smoothie Cakes is a wonderful, decadent dessert, snack, breakfast, or everyday treat. They are filled with fiber, they are plant-based, high in protein, and made organically with love. Smoothie cakes are also gluten-free, nut-free, soy-free, and dairy-free, completely vegan and organic. If you're interested in a smoothie cake, go to my website at www.smoothiecakesbyivy.com and order yours today.
Thank you for joining us today to become inspired at Ivy's Inspirations, living your best life imaginable. What would life be without inspiration? Today we learned a lot from another inspiring guest. Join us next week as we learn more from those who live their best lives and share their techniques and unique abilities to serve as inspirations to this world. See you next week as we continue to become our own best versions.